I take the apron off and stash it away somewhere. I don't pay much attention to details at the moment. Neil is coming over any minute now, and I've been slaving away in the kitchen preparing a really nice meal for the both of us. I may or may not have checked out some romantic recipes for two online. I even bought some red wine. I looked at the bottle sitting in the kitchen counter, and I quickly take a sip from it. I'm kind of nervous. I've never had Neil inside my home before. I mean, he's been to Realm Space before, but never in my private quarters. The dish is broiling in the oven right now. It's almost done. Something chicken and pasta. I can't even remember what I threw in there anymore. I've been too busy making sure everything else is perfect as well. Everything has been cleaned and set up to display a nice and cozy mood. I opted out of candles. That one seemed like it was trying too hard. It's dark outside, and I'm dressed up in evening wear. Hint, hint, wink, wink. It's a habit that kind of stuck because Angela kept insisting I dressed up whenever we'd have dinner together. Hopefully, Angela's having fun at her destination right now. Rehab. The door rings and my heart jumps inside my throat. He's here! Quickly, I check to see if my outfit and hair looks good, and I buzz him in. I can hear footsteps walking up the stairs, and I open my front door to let Neil in. Good evening, Jay, Neil greets me in a soft voice. Hi, I stammer out. I don't know why I'm suddenly all tongue-tied right now. Neil casts his eyes towards the ground. You look nice. I can't tell if he's forcing himself to say that, or if it's a genuine compliment. Either way, it embarrasses me because I definitely wasn't expecting that. Thank you, I managed to reply. I step aside to let him in. Dinner is almost ready. Just let me serve it. Please take a seat. I leave Neil in the living room to fetch the casserole dish out of the oven with my oven mitts. Granted, the last dinner we had together was store-bought lasagna. I think this is a step up. Balancing the heavy dish in my hands, I make my way over to the dining table. Neil is already seated, keeping uncharacteristically quiet. His eyes follow my every move as I scoop up some of the casserole and serve it on his plate. When I finish with my own plate as well, I take a seat opposite of Neil. Enjoy, I say, feeling a bit awkward. Neil takes the cutlery and eats his food like a perfect gentleman, just like he did when he went out for dinner with that fancy restaurant. Have you heard anything from Angela yet? I try to fill up the silence. I don't think she cares much for keeping in touch, so don't expect her to say anything until a week or so has passed. Oh, I was just wondering if she arrived safely, that's all. Neil takes a napkin next to his plate and dabs it against his lips. She arrived in one piece, he answers, smiling slightly. He does that a lot, actually, smiling when he's talking about Angela, even though she can be quite a pain. Which brings me to my next question. Have you figured out how you're going to tell your parents we're not really getting married? Neil stays quiet for a long time, doing nothing but munching on the casserole. It's excruciatingly slow. I'm going to talk to them directly. He lets out a deep sigh. It occurs to me that I can't keep relying on Angela to do her part, so I will be honest to them myself. He looks up from the table to me, his golden eyes gazing into my own. And I would like you to be there too. He sounds a bit hesitant, like I'd say no. Of course, I stammer. I'll be there. I won't let you face them on your own. Neil's body relaxes and he gives me a genuine smile. I've never seen him with such a kind expression before, so I avert my eyes from him, finding myself a little breathless. We eat together in silence for a bit, but it's not an awkward silence, and there's no tension hanging in the air. For once, I'm silently enjoying Neil's company, and I never thought I'd live to see the day. Neil clears his throat. Alright. What is... The food, it's edible. I cock him an eyebrow. Are you complimenting my food? Neil turns his head away, his cheeks turning pink. Perhaps, he utters shyly. I lean both my elbows into the table and give him a confident smirk. Neil is complimenting me, and he's being adorably bashful about it. It's not the best compliment in the world, but coming from Neil, it's probably the most earnest he can be. Oh, come on. At least compliment me for real. Put some effort into it, I tease him. Neil tries to glare, but his cheeks stay pink, making him seem rather harmless and cute instead. Your home cooking is adequate enough for my exquisite palate. I sigh. Why all the fancy words? Can't you just admit you like it? Ugh. Neil looks conflicted. I like it, he mutters softly. I'm glad I invited him over for dinner. Otherwise, I'd never get to see such a side of him. He's being so complacent for once, and he's not giving me snarky responses. It's almost like that time at the masquerade, when I thought Neil was some flirty stranger. Remembering that just makes me realize that Neil is capable of showing a nicer side of him, to even be able to hand out compliments without doing it through gritted teeth, to be able to actually converse with me. It's a strange thing to sit here eating a meal with Neil, and we're both being civilized. Perhaps this is how things could have been like since the beginning, if he weren't such a jerk about it. If I didn't spill coffee on his shoes. After all, we met when we were kids and got along just fine back then. A flirty and kind Neil, which makes me immensely curious about something. As Neil starts to drink, I start to wonder about his actions at the party. So about that flirting at the masquerade ball, I start. Neil spits out his drink and then starts coughing soon afterwards. After a few deep coughs, Neil quickly wipes his mouth with a napkin, trying to regain some of the dignity he lost by coughing up a lung. He shifts his eyes to the right and then to the left. I don't know what you're talking about. At first, I thought it was an act. The night at the ball, I start to explain the way you treated me like a human being, how you kept on flirting with me. Once I knew it was you, Neil, I thought it was all fake. Neil starts to slowly sink into his seat, which he seems to do whenever he's put on the spot and feels embarrassed. I spent quite a while thinking it was all simply a huge prank you played on me. You couldn't possibly behave like a gentleman like that. What the hell did I read? Neil narrows his eyes at me, seemingly offended. But it wasn't right, I push on. You weren't acting, were you? This time he shrinks even further and fidgets uncomfortably in his seat. No, he begrudgingly admits. Neil looks slightly embarrassed, and it's making me smile to know he's like this. It's nice to know he's admitted to it, that it wasn't an act after all. I guess it's something I wanted to hear coming from him personally, that it wasn't all fake, and that the things I felt back then, they were real. Neil was real. I'm starting to understand my own feelings a little bit better now. That means you were genuinely flirting with me, I pointed out with a smirk. Neil bites down on his lips, his cheeks now glowing pinker by the second. So cute. I can't help wanting to tease him a little bit. What did he say to me again? I feign innocence. I look dazzling. Jackpot! Neil turns bright red, but there's this indignant expression on his face, like a petulant child that got caught red-handed stealing a candy, and he knows he can't deny it. Damn, what reading level is this? 5th grade reading? These are a lot of big words. I thought I came here to eat dinner, not to endure a barrage of crude questions. Neil speaks fast. I'm still on, grade 2 reading. Come on. Crude, I repeat with a laugh. It's crude. It's crude to question you? It is when you're alluding some things that never happened, he mumbles. I'm not alluding to anything. It did happen. Don't try to deny it. Feeling quite satisfied with myself, I smirk at Neil. Admit it. You were straight out flirting with me. Neil huffs and turns his face away from me. He places his fork down and then stays eerily quiet. As I'm about to open my mouth to prod him once more, Neil cuts me off, finally looking at me again with his determined yet guilty look. And what if I was, he says, in an irritated tone. It's not a crime. I'm a bit taken aback by that. He so readily admitted this, and I think I feel my heart skip a beat. Oh no, of course it isn't a crime, I say quickly. I feel a bit flustered. I was supposed to be cornering Neil and teasing him about it, but it kind of backfired on me. I didn't expect Neil to be so honest all of a sudden. I take my elbows off the table and cast my eyes down towards the hands in my lap. I don't know what to say to Neil anymore. Did you hate it? Neil asks. Did you not want me to? My eyes focus on Neil, and his face is turned away again. He looks embarrassed still, and it probably mimics my own expression as well. I quickly pick my fork back up again and stuff some food in my mouth, so I don't need to give an immediate answer. No, I did not hate Neil's flirting. In fact, I quite enjoyed it before it was revealed it was Neil. Afterwards, I felt disgusted. But so many things have happened in between. I'm not disgusted anymore. I've come to terms with it. No, I don't hate it, and I still don't. I hate my head. I shake my head. No, it's fine. In fact, I wouldn't mind if he did it again. Actually, if I'm being completely honest with myself, he should just take his pants off now, and we should just move on with what's gonna happen anyways. Just kidding. Okay. I want a whole lot more from Neil than simply flirting. More and more I'm starting to grow these intense feelings for him. Basically what I said before, but I said it better than how it was wrote here. Then I don't want to hear any complaints if I do it again. Neil crosses his arms onto my table and leans his head on top of it, half hiding his face away from me. Wait, again? Did I get that straight? Right? Does he want to kiss again? 'Cause I'll do it. I'll hit the kiss button. I still vividly remember that time in the boutique when I told him goodnight. It's embarrassing to think about, but I definitely want this to happen again. Does Neil want it too? I'm too embarrassed to ask out loud. Are you saying you'll flirt with me again? And perhaps more intimate things as well? Question mark? I suddenly feel Neil's fingers reach out for mine. He's stretching his left arm across the table, the tips of his fingers brushing over my own. It's so soft and hesitant, as if he's asking for my permission first. I feel my face burn with a blush, so I look away from him and drop the fork in my hand. I then ever so slightly stretch out my index finger to hook around his own. Neil lets out a raspy breath of relief before he clasps his entire hands around mine on top of the table. A warm glow emits from his hand, filling up my entire body with butterflies. We're only holding hands during dinner, yet my heart feels like it's about to explode. It's like we're doing something with a hidden meaning, a deeper meaning. We eat our dinner mostly in silence, but Neil holds onto my hand the entire way. That has to be awkward as hell. Hey, let me hold your hand while we eat. And if you accidentally drop something, that's just weird. After we finish our dinner, Neil helps me clean up the dishes without a word. There's a tension in the air that's thick, but not completely uncomfortable. We're at my house. There's no one here. No one to interrupt us. I have a bedroom. Okay. Just wanted to put those on the table. It's a bit exciting yet terrifying, not knowing what's going to come next. Neil held my hand all throughout dinner. We've just about finished cleaning the dishes when I noticed that Neil has got a stain on his tie. Oh, you dirtied your tie, I point out. Neil frowns, but looks down, touching the fabric with his fingers to where the smudge is. Here, let me just take that off for you. Probably gravy. I hold back a giggle as I imagine Neil as a messy eater. Take it off. I'll throw it in with my laundry. My eyes track all of Neil's slow movement as he closes his eyes, brings a hand to his throat, and starts to loosen his tie. The fabric slides through the collar of his shirt as he pulls on one end. It feels a bit sensual looking at him taking off his tie. just sliding it right off. Neil opens his eyes again, looking at me with the tie in his hand. His shirt is now loosened around his neck, showing some of his collarbone. I lick my lips. I feel a strong urge to open another button of his shirt so I can see more. Now he's getting cocky. You know how liquid interacts with fabric, right? Neil, quoting something I told him a long time ago. He shoots me the smirk, and it's a little embarrassing realizing he actually remembered what I said. Back then, I spilled a cup of coffee on his shirt and said something about liquids interacting with fabric. I guess this time I can finally repay him for it by cleaning his black and golden tie. I take it from Neil's hand, our fingers touching slightly. My fingers linger on the inside of his palm before I pull back completely, keeping the tie close to my heart. But, don't buy a new one this time, I point out. I'll clean this one, for sure. Don't forget to give it back to me. Neil flashes a genuine smile. He looks relaxed and at ease. My heart skips a beat. Seeing Neil smile like that is pulling at my heartstrings. It's too sweet, and I don't think that's a word I could have ever described Neil with. Yet here he is, in front of me, smiling warmly at me. The day I spilled coffee on him was a long time ago, several months in fact. It was still summer back then. How things have changed. So many things have happened in between. Neil has definitely changed. I have changed. I want you to come to a dinner party with me next week, Neil, disturbing me from my thoughts. Huh? Dinner party? That means I gotta make another dress. Woo. I'll take you shopping for some appropriate clothes. It's a formal event, he explains. But I didn't agree to it yet, I protest weakly. Who am I kidding? I'm not going to turn him down. Ignoring what I said, Neil continues. It's mostly business associates. My father will be there, and we can explain the situation to him. Suddenly, rejecting his offer is starting to look more favorable. I don't exactly want to meet his father again. However, I know that we must do this together. I did promise him. So, you're asking me out on a date? I muse out loud. Well, he is, isn't he? Even if it's because he wants to tell his father that he isn't engaged. Neil becomes uncharacteristically quiet, eyes lowered to the ground and shuffling his feet around. I grip the tie in my hands tighter, anticipating his response. I suppose, he replies casually. I can't stop the blush from appearing on my face, so I look down to avoid Neil's sudden gaze on me. An actual date. He's asking me out on a date. Neil. Woo. Is up suddenly down and down suddenly up? The world makes no more sense. What? I hope I read that right. Really, I stutter? He shoots me a dirty glance. Do I ever lie to you? All the time, I answer quickly. You're never honest with yourself. Neil pauses for a brief second, huffing out loud and then taking a step closer to me. Fine, then this is me being honest, he says before wrapping an arm around my waist and pulling me close to him. Our bodies connect, and Neil lowers his face to my level so that he can capture my lips with his. I don't protest at all, as I feel warm liquid spreading through my body. That's weird. My eyes flutter close and eagerly respond to his kiss, something I've been dying to do all night long. I throw my arms around his shoulders and then wrap the tie around his neck. Okay, isn't there gravy on that tie? Come on. And hold onto both ends so I can yank him down and prevent him from leaving my lips. At the moment, this is all I care about. Neil asking me out on a date. Neil kissing me feverishly. I want him so much I can't deny it. Neil digs his fingers into my back and sucks hard on my lips. I feel dizzy as the blood in the bottom lip starts to tingle slightly. Don't back out this time, man. Do not back out. Soon enough, we open up our mouths for exploration, and my tongue makes contacts with Neil's. It leaves me gasping in pleasure. I miss this so much. One of Neil's other... Okay, this is visual. Okay. One of Neil's other hands is now on my cheek, holding me in place as he plunges his tongue down my throat, swiping it across my own hot tongue, sending shivers down my back. He briefly parts my mouth, only to take in a deep breath before slamming his mouth onto mine again. I push back against his tongue, swirling it around his, liking the sensation I get from it. Neil's fingers now travel from my cheeks down to the side of my neck, and I can feel the hairs on my neck stand up straight with goosebumps. Neil pulls his tongue out of my mouth, and instead slowly licks my bottom lip. He removes his hand from my neck, and my eyes open again, suddenly feeling a little cold without his hand there. Finally, Neil stops kissing me completely. I look at him, my eyes staring into his golden ones. Addicting, he whispers breathlessly. That simple word makes my heart throb more than the kiss made me feel, and I immediately break eye contact with him. Realizing what he said, Neil tenses up and quickly lets go of my waist and takes 2 steps back, the tie slipping off his neck that I've been keeping there. His head is turned away from me, but it's not like I can look at him right now either. Addicting? He thinks I'm addicting. My cheeks are flaming hot right now. I'm going to head back to my home right now, Neil says. I sheepishly nod my head. Sure thing. Let me walk you out, man. Blue balled again. I walk Neil to the door, both of us keeping silent. I don't really know what to say. Neil turns to me, still not quite looking at me in the eye. Tomorrow, I'll contact you about the dinner party. Have a good night, Jay. You too, Neil. Neil finally leaves my home, and I feel relieved, yet lonely at the same time. Why did Neil have to go ahead and say something like that? It messes me up. First, asking me out on an official date and saying I'm addicting? Not like his kisses aren't messing me up either. I touch my lips, savoring the feeling from before, with Neil's lips on mine. Addicting. He sure is addicting too. That pisses me off, man! I'm on chapter 26. 26. Why do we keep getting blue-balled this whole time? I'm almost done playing Neil's story, because now I'm actually getting attached. Come on. Like, the only other 2 I have is James and Dimitri. Neil, I decided to go in order. Hopefully James seems like he'll have some more character to him or something. Gosh. Upset, man. How many pictures do I need to unlock? Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4, so I have to be nearing the end of this story. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to end it here.